It also got a lot clearer when GBI released some information today saying that the student who was shot, Scout Schultz, was the one who made the 911 call. And in that 911 call, he describes the person as a white male, long blonde hair, white T-shirt, possibly intoxicated, holding a knife, and possibly armed with a gun on his hip. That is from the shooting victim made that 911 call. They also said at the scene what they found. They found one multi-purpose tool which contained a knife. That was recovered from the scene, but no firearms were recovered. And one other important fact here. 3 suicide notes were found in Scout Schultz's dormitory room. So you look at this case and you think about what it's all about. This is suicide by cop. Andy Parati is covering that part of the story for us tonight. And Andy, is there anything else that police could have done here now that we found out that this was really suicide by cop?
You know, it's really hard to tell because they don't have tasers, so that eliminates a lot of the other possibilities of non-lethal force. I did speak to the Southeast Director for the International Brotherhood of Police Officers by Skype today. He watched the video obtained by a student who witnessed the shooting and firmly believes the officer had no choice but to shoot because Scout refused to stop moving towards them with the knife.
We can't do anything else. And when you're coming at you with a deadly weapon, the officer is going to take whatever needs to stop the threat. And that's what officers are trained. We're not trained to kill. We're trained to stop the threat. And if the threat is approaching to us, and the only way to stop them is to fire our weapon and stop them from advancing forward with a deadly weapon.
I wanted to ask you, Andy, the suicide by cop, is there any indication how common all of this is? Are there statistics out there?
You know, there are statistics, but they're not really tracked that well. We did some digging and requested some information and looked up a study. The last study that we found came from 2009, where basically the last stats that we could find were that about 11% of officer-involved shootings in that study resulted in a caught by suicide, and 98% of those involved males.
All right, Andy Parati, appreciate your reporting today. Thanks so much for all that. Let's bring in the think tank on this right now. We've got our panel tonight. We call them our think tank. Different perspectives, different points of view. And of course, we have Natisha Lance, our own Natisha Lance here. We've got Jan Mondin. I want to welcome you to the show. Executive Vice President of the Student Body at GSU, also President of your fraternity. Great to get the students' perspective. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well.
All right, good. We've got Dr. Joyce Morley, psychotherapist, relationship expert. Dr. Joyce, great to see you.
Thank you.
And Max Fine also with us. He's a comedian, but also host of the Everything is Fine podcast. Let's start with what we've just seen and what we've seen on the campus of Georgia Tech.
Oh, this is horrendous. This is absolutely horrendous. First off, Georgia Tech police officers should be carrying non-lethal weapons if they're going to be taking down anyone. Not having tasers is unacceptable. I know I'm supposed to be bringing levity to this, but...
No, there's no levity in what we're talking about right here. We've got rioting, we've got a dead student here.
It's shameful. I think most certainly if they're saying that they want to stop...
Wait, what's shameful?
It's shameful of the fact that we have to get to this point and that you take the life of a student. You're there, the student is there for an education, and that a cop is carrying a gun. They say they're there to stop the threat, but if you're going to kill the threat, was it a real threat at all? Someone with a mental health illness not necessarily being a threat. And to have a utility knife, something that small, they need mental health training. They need to understand it. There should have been tasers. And for the fact that they pulled a gun, they meant to kill and not to stop the threat.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I think they'll concede that point. Absolutely. That there shouldn't. Students rioting tonight. What's going on here?
Yeah, and even when we watch that video, it seems like what's going on right now seems more of a threat than what the situation occurred a few nights ago with Mr. Schultz. You have students coming from left and right. There's fire. There's a police car on fire, and that seems more threatening than what occurred that one night when he was shot and killed. So, and then you can understand where protest comes from, but when it gets to a point where it's dangerous like this, then it becomes another problem in itself, all because of something that could have been avoided, such as that death.
But the threat is even greater when you have people who don't understand the students that they're to represent. When you have someone there who doesn't understand mental health illness, have someone there who is trigger happy.
Well, mental health seems to be a big part of this whole story.
Yes.
Right, but do you feel any differently when the only information that police had is that there's somebody who has a knife and a gun?
But
you're on college campus. Justify shooting a student.
Right.
That's,
and students have a right to carry. So when you look at that, we've given them in this state the right to carry a gun. So if they have a gun and it's legally there, does it give one the right to actually kill when they did not see one present?
All right,